Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. In today's episode, we are continuing the coverage of the teenager and her boyfriend. The teenager was pregnant. This happened in San Antonio, Texas. I did the video yesterday. I had all the updates, and then more updates came after I did that video. So make sure if you're catching up on this, you're going to want to catch up with the video that I did yesterday, right? The other live right before this one. But here is the thing is that more new details have come out about the case of the couple that has been found dead in the vehicle Tuesday afternoon, a day after Christmas. These details, they kind of shed a little more light as to why San Antonio police officials, they were a little more quiet about what they had come across. Now, we did hear from people who were close to the family members who shared, and it was hard to really run with that because it's like, holy mackerel, cops are not saying it yet. I don't want to run with it. And I even shared with you how Matthew's cousin had did a TikTok, and she shared what police had shared with her. I had found that hard to believe at that time because, wow, they shared some pretty deep stuff. She said that they told her that he was tortured, right? And that is, just more things behind it. We'll dive into it a little more. But now we come to find out that it looks like they were murdered. And it looks like this might have been planned. And it looks like they might have been on their way to the hospital to get induced. So I think I also reported yesterday that maybe they were supposed to go into the hospital on Friday, but it looks like no. I believe they were supposed to go into the hospital that Saturday, the day of the inducement. So my apologies to the family. If I misspoke in any way, sometimes you run with the media, you give your own thoughts. Not everyone's going to line up with your thoughts. And so if I was in any way disrespectful to any of the family members, I am very, very sorry. I tried to be as accurate as possible. I can't really think of anything. I did give my opinion, and my opinion definitely looks like it was wrong. I didn't get deep into that. I just said, might have been something like that. But it looks like now they're investigating a triple homicide. Because again, she was pregnant. Okay, she was going to have her baby. The baby was coming that day, pretty much. And so now you have Matthew that was also with Savanah. He was the boyfriend. According to Matthew's family, they said he was trying to change his life around. And so we're going to dive into what we know at this time, so don't go anywhere. We are diving into the investigation of Savanah Soto and Matthew Guerra, taken from this world way too soon, along with little Fabian, who was about to be born that day. Now they're investigating 3 deaths. And so we find out in this shocking case that people that are close to the investigation, that are familiar with the investigation, inside sources that are sharing with the media, that police did not find a firearm. They did not find a cell phone of Savanah Soto's boyfriend, Matthew Guerra, in that vehicle in which the couple was found on Tuesday. And so Guerra's body was found in the back seat of the Kia sedan, while Soto was in the front passenger seat with a child carrier on her lap. This was shared yesterday in a lot of it, but I didn't really quite want to run with that because there wasn't enough information to really verify, is this true, or are people just sharing stuff? But we did know that the car was spotted. They called her family and said, hey, we spotted the car. Come check it out. It's at the apartment. They got there and it was an ugly, ugly scene as it was shared. And so Matthew's family, they elaborated that they went to to locate the couple and express frustrations at the limitations that they were faced throughout their whole efforts in figuring out where is Matthew and where is Savanah. And so they were trying to figure out exactly what had happened to the missing couple. And through that, they found that no one had answers. And so they were getting pretty frustrated. And this is Matthew's family here. Matthew's dad and stepmom. Okay. And so they said they were upset about the whole thing. Now, Gabrielle and Raquel Guerra, this is Matthew Guerra's father and stepmother. And they recalled as they were trying to get in touch with the expectant parents the day that Soto was set to be induced. And she says, once it was like the 2:30 p.m. mark, we started panicking. That's what she said. She said, I started calling. I'm calling, racing home, racing over there, calling police. Where is Matthew? Where is Savanah? Right out of the gate, this family has been completely heartbroken at what they referred to Savanah as as their daughter-in-law. Okay? They put postings out there referring to her as that. Now, the Guerras, they said that they called 911 when they believed that their son and his girlfriend were in trouble. So there was a time where they're like, we believe that they're in trouble. And so the husband and wife, they didn't live right in the area. They live in Bexar County. And so right out of the gate, they were routed to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, where they initially tried to file their missing persons report on both the parents, both their son and the Savanah. So they tried to do what they can. And that's according to what they're sharing. And they got rerouted. They didn't get anywhere. And, they said Soto's family, who lives in San Antonio, they were routed to San Antonio police. And so that's when the investigations took a little step further. But because Guerra and Soto lived in Leon Valley, the missing persons report had to be filed with the Leon Valley Police Department. So this is why there wasn't a quick, almost like they were getting a runaround. They said, I was told that they were trying to get the three agency all the information that they had to combine them into one report. That's what Daniel Guerra had said about that. That's what he said in reference to this. Okay. Now, through that, they're just trying to figure out answers, literally. And so, while this is happening, he's racing to his son's apartment to verify whether the uncharacteristic silence was, anything but miscommunications. Maybe they're trying to get a hold of him, but no one's answering. And so they started getting worried. He literally said that he kicked in the door when he didn't get a response, fearing that the worst would be on the other side. They were worried that something bad had happened. Well, number one, it's baby time. They haven't heard from him. Number two, they already knew that Matthew gets himself into trouble with the wrong people. So they had multiple reasons to be worried. Instead, he found an undisturbed apartment like no one's been here, but he saw a lit candle in Soto's diaper bag. Why would there be a lit candle? When did that happen? Well, it looks like they were seen alive on Friday. They must have left, but why would there a candle be? I'm not gonna lie, my wife doesn't even want me leaving on candles because sometimes I forget. I've forgotten. So I'm not gonna play like it doesn't happen because I am guilty of it. But was it just pure? We got baby on our mind, or was there something more sinister that left them to leave? Because this is according to what he is saying about it. And so, Raquel, the mom, she's like the stepmom, she's upset too. But the dad, he's like, I'm worried now, right? There's a candle that's still lit and the diaper bag, Savanah's diaper bag. They're supposed to bring this to her appointment, which was to be induced at 6:35 p.m. on Saturday. So he knew something was not right. And so Gabrielle, he says that he asked the Leon Valley Police Department detective whether authorities if they can help in any way to find his son and to do any data, check his phones, find something. And he said that the detective told him it was unlikely a judge would grant such a request because the situation, there was not enough evidence around something sinister happening. So, with everything that's around all the circumstances, is like, we need more information. And according to Mr. Guerra, the detective basically said they're adults, and if they want to disappear, they can disappear. That's what Mr. Guerra is saying. Now, he also says, and again, I reminded them, the baby is overdue, has been overdue. They missed the due date. And to me, that's a life-threatening. I mean, there should have been more urgency. Mr. Guerra, I agree with you. I agree with you. That should have been alarming mode. A week past the due date, now supposed to be induced, no signs of the couple. Yes, to me, that does sound like red flags left and right. Red flags left and right. And so, of course, Savanah's mom, she's frustrated. She wants answers too. She doesn't know what's going on. She wants to know, where is my family? Where is my little Fabian baby that's supposed to be born today? And so, in reference to the response from Mr. Guerra that he got from the police department, according to the Leon, they said that they had been instructed by the chief of police to direct questions to San Antonio police. And that's why there was lack of help on their part, at least according to Mr. Guerra. We don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, so I'm not going to say anything negative about Leon Valley PD because I have no clue what was going on. But Mr. Guerra concluded that he was not authorized to make any further statements in reference to that. And so the Guerras, they're upset. They want to know what happened. Same thing with Savanah's mom. She wants to know what happened to my baby girl and now my grandson. And so, everyone is beyond shocked as to what could have happened in this story. We continue to find out more though, right? Now, as I was sharing, Mr. Guerra, he talked about, Matthew, and he talked about him wanting to change his life. Mr. Guerra, he says that, as far as I know, he never laid hands on her when she was pregnant. That's what Mr. Guerra is saying. And he says that doesn't mean anything because it's a common pattern in abusing relationships. Some women get purposely pregnant because, they don't really always know. But truth is, he doesn't know, especially being that at the end of the day, he won't really know. Now, if she was doing something along the lines of, if he was doing something along the lines in front of her, I bet you everyone's speaking up. Very few people are going to be quiet, but if you do, I don't know. I don't know what a person does when they're in that situation, right? But he says that he knows that he was getting in trouble and he knows that he was trying to change his life around. Okay. Now, Mariah Medina, who did an article on it, let me show you that. She shared on her YouTube. Let's see here. She shared, I'm sorry, I said YouTube, I meant Twitter. Nope, that's not it. And there she even shares, like, she talked to Matthew's father and stepmother. This was part of that interview I was sharing that I showed you the image of. And she said that something that stood out to me was that Matthew's father told me that when his son was arrested, he became aware Savanah was communicating with him in violation of the contact order. And so he himself calls the sheriff's office. Okay? He himself calls the sheriff's office. And so he knew that in this, my son is being contacted. They should not be in contact. And so let me see if I want to make sure I read that correctly. That's one of two. And you could see that for yourself if it's not too blurry. I got to look into that because that does kind of look blurry. Let me know in the comments if that's a little blurry. But he asked that his son not be released at one time in this court order. right? He was, because he was still on probation. He was in trouble again, and it's like his dad. He asked not to be released because he was in violation of the no contact order. Him and his wife said that they never bailed him out and had asked Savannah to stay away while Matthew got his life right. All to say, in my opinion, that's a dad who loves his kid. That's Mariah sharing that. Okay. And so it was like the dad wanted to see him held accountable for his actions. He felt like something had to give. He had to do something. And so he wanted help for his son as well. Of course, right? Now, it's like we find out that Matthew is said to have been found in the back seat of the car. No gun was found, and a baby carrier was right across Savannah's stomach area. What could that have possibly been? That is chilling, to say the least. And now you got to ask, why? What else could this have been, right? Well, I showed you about what happened in court a few months ago because of the death of Ethan Soto back in 2022, which is her brother. But let's be real, folks. Let's be real. There was an unborn baby. I think that changes the scope in most people's hearts. All right. What happened to Matthew and Savannah? That's tragic in so many ways. But to take another baby's life, that's a next step of ugliness. Ugliness. Who is capable of doing that? Even criminals are going to want to see this criminal put to death. Will we find out who's behind this? Let's stop. Unless there was some serious professionals, the streets are going to talk. There's a baby involved. There's a pregnant mother involved. To me, the streets are going to talk. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think is going to happen in reference to that? Because pregnant mom, a baby that was supposed to be born that day. Again, one of the things that boggle my mind with this case is, how long was that car there? How long was that car in that parking lot? Did anyone see anything? Are there any cameras? How did that car get there? Was this a professionally done job? Or was this done by some gangbanging teenagers? Gangbanging young adults? Right? What are we leaning on? A lot of people have referenced cartel because of what his side gig was or his hustle was. No one deserved this. And if this is a professionally hit job, let's be real, folks. We may not ever find an answer. God forbid we don't have an answer. My friends, if you are a person of prayer, pray that they get to the bottom of this. Hope that they get. Wish that they get. Whatever your higher power belief is, go all in that they find some answers. There is a GoFundMe for Savannah and little baby Fabian. Let me make sure I'm pronouncing that right, because I'm going to be upset if I am mispronouncing that. So let's make sure that I am pronouncing little. Let me show you the GoFundMe. I'll bring it up. But I'm just doing a search, and you could probably do this exact same thing. Savanah Soto GoFundMe. And let's see if I can find it at the actual GoFundMe page. No, let me go to, okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. That looks like it might be it. Let me just double check that that's, yep. Okay, so this there is a GoFundMe. Look, I just typed in Savanah Soto GoFundMe and I found the page, the first thing that popped up. Organized by Cindy Martinez Valero. And so it shares the tragic passing of Savannah Nicole Soto and baby Fabian. And so it has brought so much attention. If you have it in your pockets, in your heart, and you can spare $10, you can see people giving $10. This is a tragedy. Tragedy on so many levels. And they need help with their funeral expense. So if you can find it in yourself, just look it up. 1N, okay, for Savanah, not 2N's. You never know if you come across the wrong one, and that's what they're doing. You never know. So you know that there's always bad people always trying to take advantage of any vulnerable person. But a lot of people are heartbroken, and they're praying as well, because right now, this is a mystery that we don't have answers to. No one has answers to. So you are asked to please, if you know anything, share. Share what you know, how you know it, when you know it, because this deserves answers. Wouldn't you agree? Savanah Soto and little baby Fabian and Matthew, you never know. The guy was probably going to turn his life around when the baby came. You just don't know. And you know, the last thing I want to do is spread any judgment, because I don't care what anyone was doing. This little girl and little baby Fabian did not deserve the cruelty that someone could do this to them. Now, folks, tell me what you believe happened in this whole thing. Let me know in the comments what you think might have happened, because truth is, we don't really know, right? What we want to know is who. Now we're to the point where we want to know who, because this is now a capital murder investigation. A capital murder. All right? Meaning that there's a baby involved. This is deeper than anyone could have thought. She had a son. She was going to name him Fabian. What happened, we will never know. But what we can find out is what and who is capable of doing this to this young couple. Colina's at Medical Apartments is where this car was found. Okay, now relatives of Savanah Soto tell CBS News that, they heard from law enforcement that even though there were no weapons found, both were shot in the back of the head, in the right behind their ear. Okay, which is generally execution style, right? And Matthew Guerra's in the back with his pants down. And according to the cousin, which it sounds like she might have known a little more than I thought originally. My apologies for doubting her. Hey, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But baby Fabian did not deserve this. And according to, Savanah's family, though there was no weapons, both were shot in the back of the head. And Matthew in the back seat, Soto in the front seat. Why? Now, Soto's brother, Jordan, he's the one that told police, that he says that police told him there was no weapon found at the scene and that both of them were done in the head. And Laura Cordova said that a detective told her that Guerra was found slumped over in the back seat and that Soto was in front. We find out that Soto was actually holding a car seat. Now, in the picture that I shared yesterday, it looked like there was a car seat. And, by looking at it. And why would she have the car seat on her lap? Other than she probably was going to the hospital. But why wasn't the car seat in the back? That's where it's so confused. Now, the police, they originally said, the chief, he said that the car was there for 3 or 4 days. They found it on Tuesday. And they must have lost their life Saturday. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday would be the 4th day, but they don't know when that car was placed there. They're going to be checking cameras. They're going to be checking all the footage. But, to find out that this is what was done, this is tragic. And that's why this is exactly why I do this, to bring awareness to victims like Savanah, like baby Fabian, like Matthew. I don't know what Matthew was up to. His mom admits, they all admit he was doing illegal stuff. Does this have anything to do with it? We don't know. According to police, the whole thing was very perplexing, complex. That's exactly what the chief described. That doesn't really give us a lot of answers, does it? And so in that process, it's like, what else? What else could there possibly be if we're not going to have any answers? But we're hoping to have some answers, right? Now, in this is Savanah Soto's, Matthew's cousin. All right. This is where it's like when when she was sharing this stuff, I didn't know what to think. She said that her cousin's injuries were gruesome. She was sharing some stuff like they actually came across this stuff. And to know that she actually might have had some truth behind this is really mind-boggling. You could see her bawling on her TikTok. Now, some people, they grieve in their own way. You be the judge on how you want to handle the fact that she was that courageous. Is that the word you would use? That she can find it in herself to go on TikTok to share, I don't know, to do it that soon. Everyone grieves differently. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to spread the news. Okay, what's going on out there? But the cousin, she says they found him in a tragic way. They found him in a way that no one should come across. And to her, they have now lost their family because all of them were referring to her as, the family. She was about to have the baby that would be part of their bloodline, right? And so this whole thing is an ugly, ugly situation. And this is the video that she shared. This is the one that she shared, I think, the day of. And with that, it's like, as she shares in here, she feels like they got set up. She's giving her feelings. We don't know anything. But just like to us, to her, none of this makes sense. Literally. She says it right there. The way they left him in the back seat. We come to find out that was true. She says with his pants off. Okay. That's definitely a sign of, what? She says it was gruesome. They told her it was gruesome. He was not in the front seat. He was in the back seat. I'm sharing what she's talking about. Obviously, you probably heard it if you've been following this story. I didn't want to share it too much yesterday for the simple fact that no one's sharing yet. I don't know much, but come to find out that she actually was on the right track. And here's the bottom line. They didn't deserve that. And that's exactly why I'm trying to bring attention to this. So according to cousin, she believes he was tortured. They're not saying anything about her being tortured, just him. My friends, regardless, no one deserves this. And if this had to do with Ethan Soto and what happened in the court, would they just torture him? Or is this bigger? This is more of what his side gig was about, and they made him pay. But I don't know. Would the person have known they were going on there? I mean, you look at her from a distance and you just know, right? Like she's pregnant. She's about to pop any minute now. All right. She's past her due date. She's past the 9 months. My friends, please keep her family, his family, little Fabian family in your thoughts and prayers and well wishes, because this should not have happened, but we know this stuff happens. At the end of the day, we hope they get to the bottom of this, but please keep in mind, this is the world we live in. Be alert, be aware, be careful, because it is a crazy world we live in. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, peace. Have a great one.